It is election day in Ohio and Michigan.
And if you're voting in Ohio, the polls are open now.
And they just opened about 30 minutes ago in Michigan.
We are tracking several big state and local races. Marcy Kaptur is up for re-election, and several Republicans are eyeing her seat in today's primary to eventually challenge her in November.
Plus, several ballot issues that will affect your wallet. If you live in Lucas County, you will see two countywide issues. Commissioners are asking for an increase to fund 911 services for the first time in nearly 20 years. The county wants to go from 0.7 to 0.8 mils. That would cost you about $28 for every $100,000 of your home's value. The additional money would help maintain and upgrade the county's 911 service.
The Toledo Zoo is asking for less money. The proposed 0.9 mil levy would replace a pair of expiring taxes. If passed, it would actually cost you less than what you're paying right now. The levy would generate around $100 million over the next 10 years. That money would go towards capital improvement projects and renovations. It would cost you about $32 a year for every $100,000 your home is valued at. And if you live in Sylvania or Springfield School District, you'll have some decisions to make.
District leaders there warn rising costs and a drop in state funding could lead to deeper cuts. Tatiana Cash is tracking the impact of levy requests in both of those districts this morning. Tatiana.
Yeah, so currently here at Highland Elementary, as you can see, voting is currently going on right now. And leaders at both, like we said, Sylvania as well as Springfield are warning of those deeper cuts if these levies don't pass. Let's talk now when it comes to the levies. For Sylvania City Schools, to avoid major cuts, a 7.9 million, operating levy would generate roughly 18 million annually. So this levy is going to cost homeowners about $277 per year for every $100,000 on property value. The superintendent says last year they ended with a $2 million deficit and could face an $11 million shortfall if new funding doesn't come in through this levy. In Springfield, seeing somewhat of a similar issue when it comes to that funding. So for day-to-day expenses, they say a 3.9 mil operating levy, which the district officials believe would generate $4 million annually, costing homeowners $137 per year for every $100,000 assessed of the home value. Now, the district says it lost $1.5 million in state funding last year, with an additional $300,000 predicted to be dropped inside. So there is the negatives, and they are saying that, of course, in order to pick your voice and saying what you would or wouldn't want, of course, you can vote. Polling open now at 6:30 all the way until 7:30, and you are able to still cast your ballot if you're in line even when the 7:30 deadline has passed. Back to you in the studio.
Tatiana, not everyone is able to vote in person today, which is where those absentee ballots come in.
Yeah, no, when it comes to the absentee ballot, it doesn't mean that you actually are able to mail it in anymore. The rules have changed, so what has to happen now is that if you have not mailed in your absentee ballot, you need to take it down to the Board of the Elections. It needs to be handed in there by 7:30 tonight, or it will not count, and you will not be able to cast your ballot and have it counted. So definitely make sure you physically take it down to the Board of Elections, not a local polling location, in order to make sure that your voice is heard. Tatiana Cash, WTO 11 on Fox 36.
Tatiana, thank you. Otsego and Adrian Public Schools also have funding requests on the ballot. Otsego is doing things a little differently. Instead of a property tax, they're asking voters to approve a 0.25% income tax. District leaders say it would raise more than $1 million a year for 5 years. Adrian Public Schools has a 0.65 mil levy on the ballot as well. It would pay for a new community recreational facility. Voters in Ohio will be deciding several key state races.
One of those is the race for governor. Vivek Ramaswamy is going up against Casey Putsch for the Republican nomination. Now, you will see a third name on your ballot. That's Heather Hill. But the Ohio Secretary of State's office disqualified Hill last month after her running mate Stuart Moats dropped out. Since that withdrawal happened so close to the primary, Hill's name is still on the ballot, but votes for her will not count.
Dr. Amy Acton is running unopposed for the Democratic nomination, while Don Kissick is running as a Libertarian. Governor Mike DeWine is term limited and cannot run again.
And it is a crowded Republican primary for Ohio's 9th Congressional District. 5 candidates are on the ballot: Derek Marin, Josh Williams, Aaliyah Nadeem, Madison Sheehan, and Anthony Campbell. Only one of those will take on incumbent Democrat Marcy Kaptur in November. Each candidate is pitching different approaches on the economy, immigration, and government spending. Former state lawmaker Derek Marin is making another run after a narrow loss to Kaptur in 2024, while others in the race are emphasizing outsider perspectives and personal experience. Kaptur has held this seat in Congress since 1983. And those aren't the only races we are tracking here in Ohio. Statewide, voters will also cast their decisions on Attorney General and Secretary of State. Both of those races are open, meaning no current office holder is running. There's also the key U.S. Senate race, where Democrats Sherrod Brown and Ron Kincaid are looking to get their party's nomination. Whoever does faces Republican John Husted in November. Husted is running uncontested in this primary.
We checked in with the Board of Elections in both Lucas and Wood counties. They tell us all polling locations are fully staffed today, despite the challenge of recruiting and keeping poll workers. And it's not just staffing numbers that are a struggle. We're told it's also getting both Republican and Democratic poll workers.
Currently in our county, we have more declared Democrat poll workers than we have Republican poll workers. So most of our latest classes have been more Republicans because that's where our need was greater in our county.
Both counties report lower than usual early voting, but are ready if turnout picks up today. Lucas County saw just over 17.5% of voters in the last presidential primary in 2024. And just under 15% in the gubernatorial primary in 2022.
If you need a guide on what issues or races are on your ballot, Fox 36 has got you covered. You can find a full election guide on fox36.com. Just be sure to click on over to the WTOL tab. Plus, you can text the word election to the number on your screen. That is 419-248-1100, and we'll send you a link directly to your phone. Ryan?